All right, everybody, we're going live. This is going to be the first episode of Deconstruction Center. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Kind of impromptu. We've been waiting for pretty much the whole month of January, and we've had some things pop off in the country and in our personal lives. And so we are ready now to get this thing started. How are you doing, Kurt?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing great. Doing great. So for the first episode, I think we're just going to introduce ourselves and let you guys know who we are. Some of you guys already know who I am, and so it'd be a good first episode. So Kurt, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself to the people and let them know who you are and your deconstruction journey, and in how you came to where you are now.
Yes, Carl, I will tell everybody everything that they ever wanted to know. I'm Kurt Boyd. I'm a journalist. I'm an actor. I'm all kinds of things. I'm like Doctor Who. I've done all kinds of different things throughout my life, career-wise. I am from northern central Louisiana originally. I live in Los Angeles now. Oh gosh, where do I begin? I was born during the Gerald Ford administration. I'm Gen X. Grew up in the 80s and 90s. Grew up during the Reagan era. When I was a kid, we didn't consistently go to church in the beginning. We went like sometimes occasionally. And then when I got older, closer to my teen years, we started going regularly. Yeah, so I got saved when I was 16. I was very much into it. I believed everything they told me. It was the region. It was a regional thing. We took the Bible literally. I believed a lot of it. I think, it was very evangelical. My first questions about it, though, I think came up around fifth grade. Maybe this was before we were going to church regularly. And I didn't understand like how Adam and Eve came before the dinosaurs. I didn't understand that. That was the first question I ever had. But I was afraid if I asked somebody, I would be punished by God or sent to, I would go to hell when I died. So, and I can't remember who told me this. Maybe it was some other kid at school, or maybe it was one of my cousins or something. They said that Satan invented the dinosaurs so people wouldn't believe the story about Adam and Eve. And
yes.
so, okay, the paleontologists put the bones together to create the dinosaurs because Satan did all that for them. I don't know. But so
I was taught the same thing in Bible school, just saying.
Yeah, it's like, okay, Genesis is fiction because where are the dinosaurs? Where's the science? Where's all that? So that happened. When I got into high school, that was when the whole evangelical hardcore thing started. We were in church every Sunday, every Wednesday. I went to a public school, but it was a small school. And because of the region, it was more acceptable to bring prayer and Bible and things into a public school, even though, it's taxpayer funded. You're not really supposed to do that if you understand the Constitution and how separation of church and state works. But as a teenager, I didn't really understand those things. So oh gosh, I wish I still had it. I would have worn it today. I used to actually have a t-shirt that said, "Friends don't let friends go to hell." And I'm probably about 20 pounds lighter than I was back then. It would be back.
I love it.
God, I wish I still had it. I would have worn it today. I had that. I would witness to people, find Jesus now before, you die and go to hell and it's too late, all that stuff. Something that I've really spent the decades trying to make amends for, well, not only that, but when I was in college, it was my sophomore year of college. Okay, we've established that we're both gay, right? We both like boys, yeah? Men, not boys. That's creepy.
No, yeah,
Yeah, legal
men.
age.
We like men.
Yeah, so I was closeted this whole time growing up. I knew I was gay from an early age. Other people knew I was gay before I admitted I was gay. I mean, that was just how it was. But where I was at was a very homophobic region. Still is in many regards. Lots of nice people there, but it is, it's not the most open-minded part of the U.S. My family was very anti-gay in many regards. I think they still are. But oh gosh, Carl, you're gonna have to ask me questions. I don't even know what order to go in. But let me just go ahead and skip ahead to college. Okay, so my sophomore year of college, the LGBTQ plus, they had just established this new group on campus. I forget the name of it. It was before LGBTQ plus became like an acronym, but it was gay and lesbian students on the college campus. They were going to have some kind of assembly in the middle of campus. I was a journalism major in college. I wrote things for the school paper. I wrote a whole editorial about how it wasn't morally appropriate for them to have this assembly in the middle of campus, and that it was, homosexuality was a sin. And oh my goodness, this is going to just uproot the whole moral fiber of the campus if they allow this to happen. I wrote this whole editorial. I heard a group of people. I wasn't out yet. I had never had any kind of gay experience in my life yet, but it was a very, very hurtful, hypocritical thing for me to do. And that's been 30 plus years ago. I think it was 94, I think was the year that happened. And I don't even know how many people still actually remember that, but that still haunts me that I did that to people, that I hurt people. And then, it was about 4 years after that, 1998. It was actually after I graduated college, before I came out of the closet. 1998 was a very interesting year. I left Louisiana. My dad died in 1995. So I had a little money after college. So I used the money to leave. I went exploring. I had a job in Louisiana. I had graduated college. I was still working in a convenience store. I had a very understanding boss, and I just told her, I'm like, I think I'm going to go on a little road trip. Can I have some days off? That's how easy it was for me to get off from work. So I took this road trip across the Southwest. I was 22 years old. I had never been west of Dallas in my life. So I went driving through the Southwest. I ended up in New Mexico, of all places. Albuquerque was interesting. Nobody knew me in Albuquerque. Maybe I could make this new life for myself in New Mexico. I did that. And then I started the process of coming out of the closet, because I started hanging out at this country western gay bar, which was kind of like bringing a little bit of home to
Those are the best.
Yeah, home to homo. Yeah. It was a country. I wasn't really a country western person, but there were these posters about the gay rodeo. There were these, and I'm anti-rodeo now. I'm kind of sort of a vegetarian. I don't approve of animals being used for things like that, but back then it didn't really matter. So I started hanging out there.
I've got a
and
question.
Then it was around this time. This was in 98, early 98.
I'll ask you later.
I started doubting my faith, because I grew up in a fundamentalist Baptist church where gay people were bashed by the minister, told they were going to hell. Oh my God, they would bring up all these verses, Romans, Leviticus, whatever. I'll get into that too. But I started doubting my faith, and I didn't know what deconstruction was, but it started happening. Things that I were brought up with, things that I were taught, I started to have doubts about. I started to doubt the existence of God. It was sometime around 1998. I started to identify as agnostic. That went on for a really long time. About 10 years ago, I came to the conclusion on my own through studying and rereading and studying the Bible that there's no such thing as God to me. I'm an atheist. I don't believe in any of it anymore. I I think Jesus was most likely a fictional character. There's no real hard historical evidence that he ever existed. There are 4,000 to 10,000 other religions in the world. There are a lot of parallel stories of immaculate conception, virgin birth, crucifixion, resurrection. There are at least 10 to 15 other parallel stories with the whole Jesus Messiah type figure in them. Who's right? Who's wrong? Who are we to say? I don't. So that's kind of where that started to become rooted. I've been a card carrying member of the Freedom from Religion Foundation since 2017. I was Buddhist for 5 years. I don't practice Buddhism anymore. I abscond myself from all religion now. I liked Buddhism though, because it went hand in hand with science. They didn't contradict one another. There were no deities. I was a Soka Gakkai Buddhist. We didn't have deities. It was all from within. That was what I liked about it. I was full on atheist the whole time I was practicing Buddhism. I have no desire to go back to any practice or religion at all, but if I did, maybe it would be that. I still have a Gohanzen. I don't chant to it anymore. I don't know how I feel about superstition and things like that. I believe everything has a scientific explanation to it. If anything weird, I think there's a scientific explanation to seeing ghosts. I mean, I know people who claim they've seen ghosts. I've had supernatural experiences. I think there's a scientific explanation for that. I kind of think maybe there could be a possibility of reincarnation. But you know, Carl, here's the thing. We can believe whatever we want to believe. That's our right as Americans. We have the freedom of religion. We have freedom from religion. But I would never stake my theories or thoughts on things on making law based on those and putting those into government. And we're seeing way too much of that right now with the evangelicals. We've got Christian nationalism running rampant in this country with our leaders. I I don't endorse any of that. I think it's very dangerous. I think it's poisonous. I think it's a cancer on society, actually. I think indoctrinating kids into religion and teaching them things and scaring them about hell and Satan and things like that, to me, my opinion, I think it's a form of child abuse. I don't go along with that.
Yeah, I totally agree.
And do you have any questions you'd have to ask? Because I could talk for days about myself because I'm like that. But what is there anything you want to ask? Because there are a lot of gaps there I did not fill in.
I think people are going to, be able to learn about us, get to know us a little bit more as the podcast goes. So I think you set a really good foundation. One question I did have. So would you rather someone writable or eatable?
Would I rather somebody what?
Would you rather someone rideable, like rideable in a rodeo?
Ride versus eat.
Yes.
Okay, here's the deal. I don't like to put labels on myself. I did the whole vegan thing for 2.5 years. I lasted 2.5 years. No dairy, no eggs, no meat. I still don't do dairy. Well, I've been eating a lot of M&Ms lately. I try not to do dairy. Try not to. Don't do eggs. They're cholesterol bombs. Don't do it, people. I ate a steak in 2019. That's the last time I ate red meat. I kind of I kind of been eating some chicken and fish lately, but
I feel that.
I don't eat mammals. If it had a mom or a dad, if it did not hatch out of an egg, if it was given birth to, I don't eat it. If it
No,
had
no, I like
eyes,
that.
well, actually, fish have eyes. That's not true. But
And
yeah,
mom and dads.
if somebody gave birth to it, I don't eat it.
No, no, I totally get you. Um, yeah, I eat meat. I'm a meat eater, but I do like vegetation. I just eat. I really don't have a lot of intention with what I eat. Besides, I did have a gallbladder removed. So
Oh,
yeah, ever since then, a couple years ago, I'm like, okay, maybe I should think about what I eat. So I eat way more chicken and fish, and I feel like sometimes I'm a vegetarian, like a sinner vegetarian, like
yeah.
not a good one. I eat a lot of more vegetables now than I used to.
Well,
Anyways,
and yeah, and the thing is too, a lot of it's regional. You
yes,
know, depending on where you are, restaurants, the way they cook food in the South, you're in Arkansas,
yeah,
I'm from Louisiana. You know, they love to fry things.
they do. They do. It's really hard, like to even when you go to like Walmart, the amount of vegetables that we have is a lot less than what like my mom has available in Dallas. She has a lot more options in her grocery stores than we do here. So they make it a little bit harder whenever you go to the small towns, but it's understandable. We don't have it's not the market. We don't have the market for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and a lot of times you look at like how things went with your parents when you get older. I'm 50. I'll be 51 this year, and you know both my parents are gone now, and my dad died of a heart attack when he was actually 8 years younger than I am now.
Oh wow,
Yeah, yeah, I've outlived my dad by almost 8 years.
that's awesome.
And yes, and you know, he had the whole gallbladder thing when he was in his 30s.
Hmm.
And then you know, he was in his early 40s whenever he passed away. It was sudden. And I tried to base like dietary things. You know, he was also a type 2 diabetic. He had
Yeah.
those issues. He was a smoker. You know, I gave up cigarettes, oh God, years ago.
Nice.
He
Congratulations.
was never much of a drinker. I had issues with alcohol. I've had issues with alcohol and addiction. That was,
Well, shit. And he died in his early 40s?
yeah. And
Sound like
I gave
me.
up,
No,
I
I'm
have
joking.
not, yeah. I haven't had a drink. Oh my God, it's been years. I've had some hiccups with other things. We don't have to go there, I guess. But yeah, but as far as alcohol goes, I have not had a drink in, well, first got sober almost 20 years ago, but it's been about a decade since I've had a drop of alcohol. It's been
Nice.
yeah, it's been at least 15 years since I was a cigarette smoker. So yeah, I gave all that up early. Ooh, I just lost part of my light. Um, so I tried to base some of my lifestyle choices on
Hmm.
seeing what happened with my parents. And I'll be totally transparent about this. People are going to get upset about it. I don't give a shit. I'm just going to say it.
Say it.
Um, Alcohol took my mother out. Alcohol and mental
Yeah,
illness killed my mother.
it will.
Yeah, yeah. She was 64 whenever she died. It'll be 8 years this year since she passed away. And she was a chronic alcoholic at the end. She had mental illness.
Mm.
A lot of, I've inherited a lot of bad things from my parents. So I use that as a cautionary tale.
Yes,
I try to take care of myself best I can. I don't
that's
always
good.
succeed at that. But yeah, the mental illness and the
Mm.
addiction that runs in my family, actually it runs on both sides of my family. I've inherited a lot of that and I try to manage it. I try to take care of it. We can talk more about that on a future episode. But yeah, and I will say, Carl, religion messed with my head big time.
Mine too.
Yeah, I hated myself for years. There are still things I don't like about myself.
Hmm.
I, you know, some of it. I have to own. I can't like lay
Right.
that at the feet of other people and things, conditions, the environment I was raised around.
Hmm.
But I have had body dysmorphia most of my life. I was a chubby kid. As far as addiction goes, sugar was my first drug. I was a chubby kid. I, you give me a little sugar, I'll eat a whole fucking bag of M&Ms while I'm watching TV.
I could do that too. I could do that too.
I did it 2 nights ago. I ate one of those giant family-sized bags of peanut M&Ms. Everything's stressing me out right now. Oh my God.
It's easy to do. Well,
Yes.
before we get to all the stuff that's going on in politics, many of you probably already know who I am. I am a Reformed street preacher. So I was raised Pentecostal in, the Bible Belts, and I still live in Arkansas. So a lot of what Kurt has left, I am still currently in, even though I've left the faith. I still deal with it. Just to be blunt, I do drink on occasion. I drink usually on drag queen nights when we do bingos. So we do like a bingo, and I have a few drinks. Hey, if guys want to buy me a drink, I will take a shot. But other than that, no, I'm pretty much sober. I haven't really smoked the ganja in a while, and I try not to take pills that are not prescribed to me. So doing good on that front. All
Hey,
good.
one
All
day at a
good.
time, man. And
I
if you
go to
don't
me.
have a problem with it, go for it. Live
No,
and
no,
let
really.
live.
It's actually really good. Um, I do like the Buddhist principles, like Kurt was mentioning. Knowing, understanding suffering, trying to limit the suffering that we cause, all those things. I do like that. But yeah, I agree. I think we can all do the good things without religion involved. Um, I bought a Honda, but I should have bought a Nissan type of Christian, and and I'm glad that through my deconstruction, I've met a lot of people in the past 6 years that have helped me understand that I was the school that I went to, ministry school, was not a seminary. I did not learn Greek or Hebrew. I did not learn history like I should have. Um, I learned the doctrines of the faith of our denomination. And so the past, 6 years, I've really been studying more about the scholarship, the history of it all, and trying to deconstruct in a responsible way. And doing that, I have left the conservative, political belief. Um, I left actually when Trump was running for the first time. So in 2016, I was still a Christian. You know, I still went by I'm a Christian, but I definitely was questioning a lot of things in the Christian world. And one of those things was, why are we supporting someone who, by then we knew he cheated on his wife. We knew that he was going around in women locker rooms and girl locker rooms. These were teenage girls. We knew that he was bragging
This
about being able
America,
to
yeah.
touch. Yeah, we knew he was being able to, he was bragging about touching women's genitals. Um, these are things that I could not understand how the church was okay with this. And now after deconstructing, and I'm realizing that this is part of the Christian culture. Grape. I don't want to get demonetized on
Rape
YouTube.
is
On our
condoned
first
in the
one,
Bible.
yeah, we have to call it grape though. Grape is literally condoned in the Bible. It's part of the Christian culture. They defend people who grape. They defend people who do not honor consent. And that's one thing that we do not learn in the evangelical church is consent. We can just touch whoever we want. We can do whatever we want. We can, that's just kind of the Christian culture. So yeah, deconstructing responsibly. I've been doing this thing for over 6 years now, mainly on TikTok. You guys know the stuff I do on YouTube. We do there's an other live that we do where we deconstruct the churches. We do church audits. We also have like weekly meetings for people who are deconstructing. So this is just going to be another arm of that. And we're going to be able to talk about, politics, daily life. Kurt, you guys are gonna fall in love with Kurt. He's a really cool guy. So
Yeah, and
yeah,
also, Carl, I think you just mentioned it, your page on Facebook, your group on Facebook. Let's talk a little bit more about that.
yeah. We have a group on Facebook. You can find it, Deconstructing Christianity. It will be in the description below after the live is over. But yeah, we have over 3,500 members there now, and so it's really grown. I've had it for a couple of years, but I've just really not done anything with it. And last June, I was kind of moving out of the TikTok space because TikTok, was on questionable grounds, and moving away from the Discord because the Discord was becoming, a really big echo chamber. And I love everyone there, and they're all still my friends. But I was just like, there needs to be an open space for people to deconstruct, because for me, when I started deconstruction, I had a lot of these beliefs with me. And so I was wanting to find a safe space to ask these questions and not be, ran out by people who were way more advanced than I was. And so that's kind of what the Facebook group is. We, try to help people deconstruct and people who have already deconstructed. So we have Christians in the group. We have, Buddhists. We have, people from all different ranges, atheists, anti-theists, pro-theists. We have all different types. So deconstruction is a journey where you may not end up in the same space or in the same place as somebody else, but you have went through the same journey. It's really fascinating how that is. Like Kurt mentioned, he's a mythicist, right? He doesn't believe Jesus is actually a historical
I'm a
person.
complete atheist now. I make no apologies about it. I tell people who try to argue with me about how I should go back to God or Jesus or anything like that. I'm like, you know what? Go down to the Piggly Wiggly, buy a jar of dill pickles, and try to turn those all back into cucumbers. You'll have better luck than you will turning me back into a believer.
Same.
But
and we have atheists
I want to piggyback on
not
something you said, though, Carl.
Yeah.
I think what I want a lot of people to also understand is deconstruction does not mean you have to stop believing in God. I mean, as Americans, we have the right to believe or not believe as we wish. I love progressive Christians. I think they have so much more in common than with atheists than they do with evangelical Christians. Yeah, I get along with them great. I support their work. Most of the time I agree with them about most things, except
yeah, I mean, I like progressive Christians. The only thing that I do with progressive Christians is I challenge their faith, or I challenge their theology, and I think that is something that, as a deconstructionist, I am really passionate about. Not believing something just because it makes you feel good, but believing something because it's true. I think that is where I think that's the more noble thing. And I don't hate them. I don't want to disrespect them, but I also want to, test their ability to be challenged. That's one thing that I had to learn through deconstruction, is that I could be wrong, and it's okay. I definitely could be wrong. And I used to not be able to handle challenges or criticism. And I've gotten more open to that through deconstruction, because it's not like my eternity's on the balance. And it's more of a learning opportunity now than it is a threat. And so, whenever we talk about Jesus being a good person, well, Kurt doesn't believe Jesus existed. Here's a good example of
I don't necessarily 100% believe he didn't exist. I just think the evidence is very strong.
And I agree.
And here's the thing, another thing, Carl. Oh my gosh. I can't really say I watched this movie. I watched like excerpts, like somebody did a podcast
The
on
Passion of the Christ.
I watched it. God's Not Dead. That movie,
God's Not Dead.
Kevin Sorbo. Oh my gosh.
Oh, he's a mess.
Yes. Well, oh my gosh. I have very small degrees of separation from that crowd too. Oh goodness. All right. So they presented it. I was like laughing my ass off when I watched the excerpts of this movie. They presented his atheist character as this God-hating person who's out to, he's like threatening physical violence against the Christian student
Yes.
who's challenging him. And look, here's the deal. I don't hate God. I don't hate Christians. I tried not to hate anybody before this current administration, but
That's
that
right. Yeah,
that
that's
changed a
great.
little bit.
True.
Look, if somebody presents me photographic or video evidence, or God suddenly appears in front of me, it's like, okay, I was wrong. I admit it. I will change my position on this. My lack of belief is based on lack of proof. It's not being like hating somebody, it's nothing like that. It's
Yes.
all based on lack of evidence. That's all it is.
And I mean, my thing is like, I listen to Bart Ehrman, and he's an atheist as well, but he
Yeah.
believes that Jesus was a real person. He thinks that we have enough evidence, but the truth is, like, still yet he debates on the historical Jesus. And I've seen proof that maybe Jesus wasn't one person. Maybe he was a combined character of many different people in the first century Judea. So, I mean, if Jesus real, I have no problem saying, yeah, let's go ahead and just say, yeah, just for the argument. But even if he was, we can't even have certainty of who that person was. Even
Right.
scholars debate the historical Jesus and like what his actual words were.
And another theory that I've heard that I can buy into is maybe, Paul Bunyan was based on a real person, but they built a whole legend around him.
Exactly.
And something similar could be up with Jesus. Who knows? But there are so many parallel stories like his in other religions. That's one big thing that's made me cast doubt on that.
Yes. And so, I mean, the good thing about deconstruction is that we don't have to claim certainty on anything.
Right.
And I mean, even whenever you give someone a guilty verdict, you don't have to have 100% certainty in order to send someone to jail. It's literally like 90%, 80, a high 80% mark is all you really need to convict someone that they're guilty. And so I think the certainty is a lie of the Christian church. I don't think we can really be certain of anything, but we can just have a high degree of certainty, if that makes any sense. It's not ever going to be 100%. And so, yeah, Kurt talked about hurting people in the LGBTQ community. Yeah. I did too. I was in the closet. I went to a ministry school that was super, dogmatic and homophobic. So I got graded by going to Oakland. If you guys know where Dallas is, that is the gay district of Dallas. And I would, yell at people on the streets, and that's how I was graded for my evangelical class. And so, you deal with that. You have to deal with that through deconstruction and the guilt. And one of the principles that I've learned through my meditation, the Buddhist meditation thing that I go to every week, is that we are people. As people, we are either skilled or unskilled. And I was very unskilled. I was super unskilled to deal with myself and to deal with others. And I was being trained by people who were superly, like, very unskilled on how to, practice empathy or to try to understand the other side. It was all straw mans. The other side was just all straw mans. Gay people were evil and and they had an agenda to, turn our children evil. This is the stuff that was literally.
That's what we're taught.
And,
I don't want to rag on my mom. She's no longer here with us, but she used to read all these Christian magazines, and I'm trying to think of a diplomatic way to say this. They are sold a bill of. They are just okay. A lot of this Christian literature is full of bullshit. I'm not going to mince words on this. I mean, they're told like horrible things about gay people, or they were in the 90s. I don't know what's going on now. I don't keep up. I don't give a fuck about any of that anymore. But yeah, stuff like, I mean, just like really gross, like the most obscene thing you can think of. They tell people that gay people go around and do. They make it all about sex. They don't. It's there's there, and they sell it as Christian love, and it's not. It's not. It's hate.
Exactly.
It incites bigotry. It throws gasoline on the fire of just prejudice. It's horrible.
No, you're right. And it's really horrible, and it's not like I said, they're super unskilled and they love it. And so
And they love like teaching people these ignorant things, so they'll
they
go
really
around
do.
believing it, compound their prejudice just a little bit more.
Yes. And they love it. And so the thing is that my hope is that as we, progress in, education, and we progress in really just our lives, we grow into a place where we try to understand each other a little bit better, and we build up skills to understand each other a little bit better. And so, with that being said, that's who I am. I'm a Reformed street preacher, evangelist, pastor, all those good things. I've been one of those things before. So it's taken me, I left ministry in 2012. So it's been over 10 years since I started having questions. And it was never like I got the education to deconstruct about evolution. I didn't understand evolution until pretty recently. I didn't understand biology. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, those are all the things that I had to learn as an adult, because as a kid, I was taught not to listen and not to learn.
Yeah, evolution was evil. Oh my God, it's
Yes.
Satan. Actually,
Yeah.
I had a science teacher in high school. And when you're an adult in a region and you're teaching kids, you gotta toe the line, you gotta set an example, you have to do all that. There were, in a very religious region, lots of good people where I grew up. I am not gonna trash where I grew up at all. I'm not gonna trash
Come
my
on, Kurt,
teacher.
you can do it.
Yeah, most of them did the best they could in the circumstances
True.
they were raised in, that they were around for decades. Some of the racism and bigotry that region's known for, needs, there's work needed there, I think, still probably today. But I had a science teacher in high school, and one of the students asked him, I remember this very well, what his opinion was of evolution, because it collided so much with religion. And he gave a very diplomatic answer. His answer was, "I believe God created evolution."
Oh,
That's a good answer for somebody in that region.
especially for
That's
kids.
that's a very good answer.
It
I don't know
is.
if that's really what he believed. None of my
Probably not.
business what he believed, but I thought it was a very diplomatic answer. Even at the time, I'm like, wow, okay, that that kind of like, that
Yeah.
kind of takes care of both
Very skillful
topics or
person.
subjects or whatever.
Sounds like a very skillful person.
It's a good answer. But yeah, the thing with me was, as I grew up and I studied, and I've always been a big reader. I love to read. In the digital age, I read things. I don't remember where I read them. It was a little easier before that. You could always say, "Oh, I read it in this book," or "I read it in this magazine article." You can't really, we've got so much information coming at us from all different directions these days.
So true.
It's hard to pin down and remember where you read something. But I started reading so much, and science evolves, it changes. We get new evidence, we learn more things. That's something, and I'm not like a big science expert, but that's something I've always been able to put my faith in, because I know it's based on some kind of truth. And sometimes that changes.
Evidence. There's based on some kind of proof. right?
Yeah, you can put that on a solid foundation, whereas
Yes.
religion, and I think a lot of, especially evangelicals, white Christian nationalists, they're faced on sand. I'm sorry, there's no solid surface underneath that. And I was raised with it. I know it's not. And you were talking about understanding and bringing people together and things like that. We've got an administration right now that's doing the complete opposite of that. We've got people who were supposed to be bringing us together who were tearing us apart.
True.
And I said I was going to go scorched earth. Here we fucking go. I'm about to do it.
Do it.
Oh, yeah, let's do it. Okay, Minnesota, what is happening in Minnesota right now is wrong. It is un-American. There's no democracy whatsoever. We're turning into a police state. Our country is resembling 1930s Germany right now. It pisses me off. I don't know what I'm going to fucking wake up to and see on my phone when I wake up in the morning. There's always some scary ass push notification.
You're right.
Trump did this. Somebody did that. Kristi Noem, I hope her ass is fired by the end of the week. I'm predicting end of the week on her. Hopefully. She goes on TV. She pathologically lies about every goddamn thing. I mean, come on. We saw with our own eyes what happened to Alex Preddy. He was murdered. I have seen that goddamn video from every fucking angle. And he did nothing to incite anything that happened to him. He did not.
Yeah.
And I fucking dare anybody to come at me and tell me differently. Same thing with Renee Good. You can look at that video from any angle you want to. She did not. She had her tires turned away.
Exactly.
Carl. They were not turned toward any ICE agent. She told the guy, "I don't hate you, man," or something like that. He shoots her 3 times, calls her a fucking bitch after he shoots her 3 times. I mean, come on.
Which is a really gay thing to do, by the way, to call someone a fucking bitch.
Well, it shows it's small penis syndrome, man. Because
it is. It is.
Yeah. Anybody who talks shit about a woman like that, no, you know what? And here's the thing, and I read this, and I don't. This is based on what I read. Different publications, can't pinpoint a name of the publication, but allegedly, I better put that word there so nobody fucking sues me. But I cuss a lot too. People, watch out.
You're great.
Yeah, I say fuck, whatever. Allegedly, his ex-wife left him for a woman. So maybe there was a little bit of bitterness going on there. Maybe there was a grudge about that. And Renee,
didn't he have a Grindr account though too?
I read that
I did too. Allegedly.
Who
knows?
Yeah. But here's the thing. Renee Good's wife said something like, "Go get lunch, big boy," or something. You know, he didn't like it because the woman talked down to him.
Exactly.
That's my theory about the whole thing.
We're giving incels guns and badges.
His weak little masculinity got trampled on.
Yeah.
Maybe some small penis syndrome was going on there. Who knows?
He got a little pee-pee.
Maybe so. And he didn't like it because his ex-wife left him for a woman. And here's this lesbian couple. And I think it's all rooted there somewhere. I think that's what I think.
So I haven't seen the Melania Trump post yet. You said that she was saying something about being peaceful. I don't know. Let's see if I can pull it up.
Yeah, well, Melania is a PR prop. Let's get real. She is a fucking PR prop. She is, she started out as Donald's arm candy, and now she's.
If we're gonna be deporting everybody's wife, why is Melania not being deported?
I don't know. Well, and we all know Nicki Minaj. The whole reason she's kissing MAGA ass.
Oh yeah,
is because she came here 5 years old as an undocumented. She came here undocumented. Her husband and her brother. Oh God, I know. Okay, let's throw her husband is allegedly.
Allegedly. I love that word.
Maybe her brother, some other member of her family, I'm hearing something similar. And also, Carl, let's not forget about the Epstein files, and
yes,
maybe some of this stuff that's going on is designed to distract us from that.
Well, I mean, since we're talking about that, while I'm looking for Melania's statement on Fox.
Oh, I got Melania's statement. I'll pull it up right here.
Okay, good. All right.
Yeah. It was on TMZ this morning. That's where I saw it. I'll read it. Yeah, I don't.
Is it not?
The
I'm
First
against the
Lady
violence.
appeared on Fox and Friends Tuesday morning to share her message, noting she's, quote, against violence and, quote, calling for unity. Notably, she did not address the DHS agents Donald Trump deployed in the city, solely the protesters. She's calling for the protesters to protest peaceably. You know what? Fuck that, because they were protesting peacefully.
Yeah.
They didn't incite, they're being called agitators by some media outlets, some right-leaning media outlets. They're not agitators. They were practicing their First Amendment rights.
Yeah. I mean, you could protest in peace, but what do you do whenever they just start beating you up for helping an old lady up?
Why doesn't this administration and the people connected to it, why don't they just admit Alex Preddy was murdered? Why don't they admit Renee Good was murdered? Why don't they start admitting where they're wrong?
Let's start with what's happening in Minnesota. There are these protests.
Oh,
there you go. No, play it. You're good.
The world is divided. There's pressure on both sides.
Oh, God. Kristi Noem, I can't. Oh, God. It's Kristi Noem, people. Let me get her.
Oh, no. Get off of Fox.
It's like she heard me. She started talking. She started spreading more of her bullshit.
Like, oh, shit.
Listen, we have people going on TV on Sunday morning talk shows telling us that we did not see what we clearly saw with our own eyes. And while we're reading quotes and from publications, there was something that I saw. I really want to read this. I was going to read this at some point during this podcast episode.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm trying to find it now. Okay, here we go. This quote never gets old, very timely. George Orwell from 1984. The party told you to reject the evidence of your eyes and ears. It was their final, most essential command. That's from 1984, George Orwell, written decades ago. How timely is that now? And there's a page on Facebook. It's called A Mighty Girl. It's about empowering women. I don't follow it. I mean, maybe I should. I'm a man, but I am all for championing. I can't talk women's rights.
Yes.
Yeah. Before I read this, if you're a white man or you're just a man,
like both of us,
yeah, don't tell a woman what to do with her body.
No.
Don't tell her what to do with her uterus. Don't tell her what to do with her pregnancy. Don't do that shit. I will fucking call you out. I will tell you what a small little tiny person you are. Don't do that. Don't tell a woman what to do with her body ever. In front of me, I'll call you out on that.
Yeah, we don't have an opinion on that. Like, literally, we should not have an opinion on people's bodies. Like, let them have autonomy. Let them have the choice to do what they want.
That's between her and her doctor.
Exactly. 100%.
Okay, here's A Mighty Girl's post on Alex Preddy. I want to read this. I did not write this. Somebody else wrote this. It touched me. I might get emotional. It's called empathy, people. Just because you never met the guy, just because you never met Alex Preddy, just because you never met Renee Good, doesn't mean you can't feel sad that they're both not on this earth anymore. It's not right. It's wrong.
They were shot down like dogs.
They were murdered.
It's really sad.
Okay. And I live right underneath the flight path of the Hollywood Burbank Airport. Let's hope I don't get interrupted while I'm trying to read this Mighty Girl post about Alex Preddy. Alex Preddy's murder is a tipping point. When Mr. Rogers said, look for the helpers, he meant people like Alex, who in the moments before federal agents killed him, stepped forward to protect two women under attack. The brutality of his murder has enraged Americans across the political spectrum, and the lies that followed were the last straw. The immediate smear campaign by the administration calling Alex a, quote, domestic terrorist who intended to, quote, massacre law enforcement was demolished within hours by video evidence captured by courageous observers. Americans have had enough of the lies, the state-sanctioned violence, the cruelty and chaos. Enough of the worst being unleashed on American cities to abuse citizens and immigrants alike with impunity. After weeks of brutality in city after city, Alex's murder is finally pushing even some of the administration's staunchest defenders to speak up. Thank gosh. Today, well, this was actually written yesterday, Monday, January 26th, a Republican candidate for governor of Minnesota withdrew from the race. Chris Mattel is no moderate. He's a law and order candidate endorsed by the Police Officers Federation of Minneapolis, who provided legal counsel to the ICE agent who killed Renee Good. And yesterday, Monday, he walked away from his own party. Here's a quote from Mattel. I cannot support the National Republicans' stated retribution on the citizens of our state, nor can I count myself a member of a party that would do so, he declared. United States citizens, particularly those of color, live in fear. United States citizens are carrying papers to prove their citizenship. That's a quote from Mattel, who dropped out of the race for Minnesota governor. He denounced Operation Metro Surge, what we're seeing in Minnesota, Operation Metro Surge, the massive federal occupation of Minneapolis, which he initially supported, stating that it has, quote, expanded far beyond its stated focus on true public safety threats and calling it, quote, an unmitigated disaster. At the end of the day, I have to look my daughters in the eye, this is from Mattel, and tell them I believe I did what was right, and I am doing that today. So he walked back, he saw what he believes now to be wrongdoing in his city, in his state. Okay, this is continuing on with the post. Alex's murder was Chris Mattel's moment of reckoning, and it should be a moment of reckoning for all Americans. To those who have been quietly sitting on the sidelines watching as this unconscionable administration has pushed the country to the brink, to the point where federal agents are shooting citizens in the back, I saw a freeze frame. It was an execution style shooting of Alex Preddy. To the point where federal agents are shooting citizens in the back, I'm back on the post now, and lying about it. There are no more excuses. Now is the time for all of our elected officials to hear our voices, to hear overwhelmingly that what's happening is wrong, and that Americans, Democrats, and Republicans alike have had enough. Flood their phone lines today. I made this post public on my Facebook page. Kurt Boyd, find me on Facebook. It's public because there's some very, very detrimental and important information at the bottom of this post. A mighty girl. I shared the post. It's on my page.
We'll share Kurt's Facebook page in the description below.
Yes. There are links at the bottom, what to do, how to get in touch with your representatives, where you live. And, you know, we have to stop this. If ICE, and I think the administration, based on everything I'm reading today, they're walking back from some of this because they're getting so much backlash about what's happened in Minneapolis. Good, maybe that's what's happening, but you know, it can't stop there. We have to get in touch with our representatives. We have to admonish what is going on in this country right now.
We've got to start standing up for each other, because if we don't,
Absolutely.
It's going to get a lot worse, especially after the midterms. If they don't lose after the midterms, there's not going to be any reason for them to step back. You know, I think that's the major reason why they are stepping back from this, because they know an election's coming this year. And so, I mean, I just watched Pierce Morgan, and his name just went out of my brain. But he's a really famous Democrat from Louisiana, I think. Commentator.
James
Yes, just
Carville, yeah.
He says that he predicts Democrats will take up to 7 seats in the Senate because of this. He told Republicans to sit back as they get beat in the face this year because of what's happening. And I hope to God James is right. I really hope to non-God, right?
James is kind of hit or miss with me sometimes.
Same. But hey, what he said, I agree. I think that America's seeing this, and as I was someone who was raised conservative. I was raised conservative.
Oh yeah, me too.
They taught me the guns that you have are to fight a tyrannical government, and what we're seeing now is a tyrannical government. And so if you're not able to be able to protest with a gun, you're not able to, exercise your First Amendment, your Second Amendment, your Fourth Amendment, what else should we call that besides a tyrannical government? So they're all walking back. At least some of them have been walking back. And I don't know how far they can without being a totally different party. You cannot call them conservative anymore. They're not conservative. They are something. They're all for taxes. The tariffs are a tax. They are loving the taxes. Taxes for Daddy Trump. They're all for police brutality. They're for getting rid of the Second Amendment. They're getting rid of the First Amendment. They're for getting rid of the Fourth Amendment.
Well, they're being total hypocrites about the Second Amendment.
Everything.
Okay.
They're being hypocrites about everything.
It's all good when kids are getting shot to death in schools, but then, when somebody who has a concealed carry permit gets murdered on the street, never takes the goddamn gun out.
Right.
And then they try to invent some narrative. He was threatening people, or
he said he was brandishing a gun.
Yeah.
Where?
Which version of the Second Amendment works for you? Tell us.
Exactly. So yeah, and
I get really pissed off, fired up, angry about this whole thing. This whole thing in Minnesota is ridiculous.
It is bad.
It is not American. It is unconstitutional. It is ridiculous.
And you literally can watch agents walking to someone, pumping gas in their car and going, "I need your papers." When the fuck do we become that? When did and it's getting out of control. And I know people think that we have an immigration problem, but they don't even know what the number is. The number just keeps going up for them.
Well,
they say, "Oh, it was 5,000. Now it's 10,000. Okay, 30 million." It's like, what the hell?
But as far as the numbers and they have these ridiculous quotas about how many people have to be deported. Stephen Miller is responsible for a lot of that. He raised the quota to some ridiculous number because. Allegedly, he's trying to make us, dude. He's trying to get rid of he wants people who aren't white out of this country.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not even trying to hide it.
He's not trying to hide it.
He's not. I mean, he's acting like some 1930s German Nazi who's trying to he's trying to make it into a white country. And I have another question. This is just I don't know if it's a rhetorical question. I mean, no, it's not a rhetorical question because it does have an answer, but what would be so bad about white people becoming the minority in this country?
Right?
Why is that a bad thing?
It's not. It would not be a
Why
bad
are
thing.
we being made to believe it is, though? I mean, it's kind of a duh question, but why are we being made to believe that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of the electorate are racist. I mean, let's just be able to say it, right?
But even in school, we were taught, like in American history class, the U.S. is a melting pot. That means different people,
well, it is until
races, different cultures, different religions, that we should all be able to coexist.
It's a melting pot for Europeans, is what they meant, I think.
Maybe so, but
now it's like, well, okay, you have all these different people coming in, and now they're getting scared. But in all honesty, that's what's going to happen. Immigration makes us better. Immigration makes this country better. Having people that know, I mean, whenever you work,
we all come from immigrants.
I've worked with people that were immigrants. I've actually worked with undocumented immigrants.
Unless
we were doing a school
unless you have
on
a
a
pure
roof.
Native American bloodline, all of your ancestors are immigrants.
True. I mean, I've worked for first generation immigrants, and I have never seen anyone work as hard. I'm just being really honest.
Yeah.
I've never seen anyone with a harder work ethic than these people. They were able to put up the roof faster than half the guys that were Americans, and with half the number. So,
yeah,
you know, you're not going to tell me, no one's going to be able to tell me that immigrants are bad for America. They do way less crime, and they work way harder, and they don't get Medicare, they don't get Medicaid, they don't get a lot of these benefits that Americans, if you're lucky enough, get. These people don't, because they're undocumented. They're either undocumented or they're using a fake Social Security number, and they don't want to use it too much. They don't want to get called out with it.
Yeah. I just, when I was in my 20s, I worked in the restaurant industry, and we had, I lived in San Diego at the time, and we had this dishwasher who lived, we were 20 minutes from the border. He lived in Tijuana.
I love Tijuana.
Yeah, his name was Julian. I don't remember what I ate for lunch yesterday, and I remember some guy's name 26 years ago. But yeah, he was a dishwasher. He would come up. I don't believe he was a citizen. I mean, he lived in Tijuana. He was not a citizen. He worked. He was a hard worker. I mean,
Yeah.
And that's just one example. There are many examples of this, but we want to trash these people and minimize them and discount them and marginalize them, and it's not right.
So yeah, if you're listening and you're going, well, this is a religious, like I said, this is going to be an arm for us to talk about things that are actually
we're going to be talking about all kinds of things,
because the truth is, as a deconstructionist, it's not just about deconstructing the religion.
Yeah,
we are deconstructing racism. We have to deconstruct our imperialist way of thinking. We have to deconstruct a lot of the things that we were raised with. It's not just the religion. The religion, on one sense, you can be a progressive Christian, like we were talking about earlier. You can be a conservative Christian. You can be a Christian that doesn't even think politically at all, right? The religion's almost neutral, but it's literally the culture that we have in the evangelical world, in the evangelical realm. The culture is so harmful. The culture is racist. The culture is conservative. The culture is all these things that we're fighting against today. And so it's tyrannical. It's they want dominion over everybody. They want to be the ones in power. It's hungry for power, greedy. They want all the money. It's all of those things. And so when we deconstruct, these are the things that we're deconstructing from.
And Carl, I don't mean to interrupt, but
go ahead, do it.
We've got breaking news right now. Apparently, Trump says Kristi Noem will not step down. Will not step down. This is from The Hill.
Okay.
I'm bringing it up right now. Trump says Noem will not step down amid mounting resignation calls.
So he's not going to fire her.
No.
But how many times has Trump lied?
Yeah, they don't call him Taco for nothing.
I mean, in all honesty, my prediction is, even if she doesn't get fired, she'll be moved somewhere, or somebody will take a place above her.
Well,
you know what I mean?
It's time for our Congress to step up.
It is time.
We've got some people
you can't
really
lie
speaking
about
out,
an
and we've
American
got some
citizen
just sitting on their hands.
You cannot lie about an American citizen that was shot down like a dog 8 to 10
while
times
he was trying to help
back.
somebody.
Yes, helping an elderly lady, practicing a Second Amendment. You cannot lie and say he's a terrorist. God damn, you guys are the terrorists at that point.
They took his gun off of him and shot him 10 times.
They shot a dead man. They literally shot a dead man. All right.
He was not, he was not a physically imposing guy either. We've seen the pictures. He was a slender guy. It did
Yes.
not. He had multiple agents wrestle him to the ground. He was shot multiple. I mean, what the fuck, man?
Well, you know, people love to get on liberals' nerves until they piss us off. We have never lost a war. In our inception of America, we have never lost a war. Liberals have always won. We've always been the winners. We may lose a battle, but we usually end up winning the war. So,
Well, people who do this kind of thing never end up on the right side of history.
exactly.
Never.
All right. If you guys are watching the replay, I appreciate you guys for being here. We had a few people come in and drop off, but it's our first episode. I wasn't expecting a lot of people on our live. And you know what? That's usually how it works too. Our live goes up and they have a specific time to catch us live, but usually they'll catch us on the replays. So we'll have this up. I'll be working on the getting all the links up on the description. Thank you guys for being here. Anything that you want to say before we end it, Kurt?
No. But do you like? No. Okay.
Show us the Emmys.
I am a 3-time Emmy winner. I've been a journalist most of my adult life. I'm an actor. I've been. I was in a Dean Cain movie 3 years ago. I had 2 lines. Oh God, yeah. There are some. Yeah, you know that. You know.
Hashtag cancel Kurt.
Yeah. He's. You know, this was before Dean joined ICE, but we knew what he was all about. It's. You know.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. All right, everybody. We're going to be working on a schedule. We'll be doing some more things. Keep in touch, and thank you for being here. Bless yourself. Bless those you love. There's no God to do it for you. Have a great day, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.